Okay, so welcome to the call. It is Friday, August 27th, and we are going to be talking about what's in your toolbox. Now, I have a handy sheet, a resource sheet at the bottom of all my blog posts that I try to keep updated with what's in my toolbox. What do I use on a daily basis? Now, I use a lot of different software tools, and I have found over time, there's about maybe 10 to a dozen or more tools that I use on a very regular basis. And there's probably 5 or 6 that I use every single day I'm at work. So I am going to share with you, and it's going to be, I've got a lot of slides, so I'm not going to go into any product demos until I get to the end. So hang with me to the end, and if you want to see any of the software, how it's used, I'll try to do short demos of it. Some of it you have already seen in some of the past Geek Out Friday calls. So, I won't go into a lot of detail on the demos, but I'll hang on the call as long as y'all want to see some tools, because I think most of the tools I'm going to recommend should, if you don't have them, you should get them. They should be in your toolbox, or at least you should be aware of them, so that maybe you can budget for them later. So without my co-host to take up time while I'm drinking coffee, let's go ahead and get started, guys. Okay, so here are my top 10 favorite marketing apps that I use on a daily basis, that we use on a daily basis. And I tried to kind of get them in a ranking order. They're not necessarily, I have them listed 1 to 10, but it doesn't mean number 1 is always everything that I use the most of. These are just 1 to 10. My favorites are kind of near the top that I use more regularly. So let's get started. Conversion AI, you've heard me talk about it. You've probably heard everybody else talk about it, and it's now called Jarvis AI. And it is an AI copywriting SaaS tool, meaning it's online. It doesn't matter what device you're on, you can pretty much access it. And by far, this is the best tool that any marketer in the world, and I say the world because they do different languages now, should be using if they're writing anything online, whether it's copy, sales pages, ads, blog post, or just doing content for SEO, or even writing a book for themselves, which I'm actually using it to write 2 books. I got 2 books going out right now. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this. I have been using Conversion AI probably since they first launched in January or February. They've had several iterations, and they've gotten better and better over time. They also got, I think, $3 million in equity funding, and they have another funding package going out. So they're very well funded, meaning they are bringing in coders, they're bringing in marketing people. But sometimes the decisions they make, what I've noticed, are more, maybe the investors are making those decisions versus the marketers or the owners of the company. So sometimes they make bad decisions online and say silly things, but for the most part, their software is really right on. The user interface is incredible. Now, are there other AI tools out there? Absolutely. I have tried Copy Closer. I've tried Write. In fact, I've tried everything on AppSumo that says it's an AI writing tool. I'm trying to beat Conversion AI because they're kind of on the pricey side. I did buy the year on Boss Mode, and I'm very happy with it. I haven't found a tool that does what this one does yet. Now, there's going to be competitors all the time popping up and copycats, but these were one of the original softwares that they wrote, and this is going to be a good tool for you in the future as well as now. Stay tuned to the end. I'll talk more about it. I'll even do a demo. Number 2, I am terrible at spelling. My grammar is not very good, and I write with Texas slang, just like I speak sometimes. So I need help. Grammarly is what I consider the best grammar checker out there, the best spelling checker. And it works inside of most of the writing apps. It works inside Google Docs, Microsoft Word. It works in most of in fact, it even works inside RSSmasher on some of the things. There's a few things it doesn't work inside of, but they have a really good user interface where you can just copy it, hit the Chrome extension, and it pops you into a Grammarly editor that you can do all the verb testing, grammar testing, and any spelling test. And if you're a writer, a copywriter of any type, I tend, and you're probably like me, is I tend to capitalize a lot of my letters, a lot of my words inside of a sentence, because I'm so used to writing headlines or subheadlines where you're capitalizing words. So this will catch some of the stuff that, you know, you just take for granted that everybody should know. Okay, number 3. This has come on as one of my favorites. And we have actually built an application to use Word AI. I've been using spin writing services of some type for 10 years. Spin Rewriter, that's the one I've had for all 10 years, but I've tried to always beat it with something better that makes it sound like it's written by a English-speaking person with very good grammar and English, and it's still readable. So whenever you spin something up, you want it very readable. In fact, you want it even better. And that's what I think Word AI, their newest version uses AI as their backbone. They're using the same interface that Conversion AI does. And in my testing is I'm taking content from Conversion AI, putting it into Word AI, and it's passing Copyscape. It actually reads better than when I wrote it inside of Conversion AI. And I have some PLR content too that I know will not pass Copyscape, that I have been cutting up and using for articles. Well, I'll put it into Word AI and it passes Copyscape all the time, and it improves the writing of it. And just as of recently, I guess 2 or 3 weeks ago, we launched Word AI inside of RSSmasher. Now, it will spin the content, but you kind of have to protect certain things because you don't want it changing image captions, or you don't want it dropping images completely. So we're going to come out with a kind of like a mini training course of how to use Word AI inside of RSSmasher. On some feeds, it works absolutely perfect. You just check a box and it runs. On some feeds, you have to kind of massage it a little bit. And so I'll teach how to do this. We talked a little bit about it on the Geek Out Fridays last call. So anyway, that's something that you definitely want to look into if you don't have it. It's not, you know, it's not cheap like Spin Rewriter. I think I paid $400 for it for the year. But if you're doing any copy and you want it to pass Copyscape, that's what you need to use. Also, we're going to be doing some content writing services for people. You know, we're in the content marketing business, whether it's automated or semi-automated. We use Word AI, and we encourage you to, especially if you're going to go with the original content, the Holy Grail project, as I say, with the RSSmasher. Okay, secret weapon number 4 is Q. I have talked about this in the past, and guys, I think I told you this. My mom thinks I'm on Facebook all day long, finding articles, posting them up, and she thinks I'm really busy. Well, I'm not. I'm a lazy marketer. But Q, they do manual human curated articles. So they go out and find the very best of the articles. They'll write a couple sentences about it, and then they'll put it into their queue. And inside of the queue is I send it to SocialB. You could send it to Hootsuite. You could send it to Buffer. Any of your social scheduling tools. You can. So this is kind of like somebody helping you find the very best articles, putting it in SocialB, so you can distribute it to your LinkedIn, your Facebook groups. This is what keeps my groups active. And you've seen them if you've been in RSSmasher or BitPenguin. Is some really interesting articles. I combine it with my own articles. So I get a lot of engagement on groups and pages that normally if I didn't have Q, I wouldn't be getting this type of engagement. Engagement leads to sales. So just think of the more engagement you get, the more sales you get. And it's also helping you with the know, like, trust factor. We did a Geek Out Friday, I want to say it was after the first of the year, about the Q to SocialB workflow process. So that brings me up to number 5, SocialB. This is a content posting scheduler. So that's all it does, is it holds all the articles. It captures RSS feeds, webhooks, captures Q, and it also has a Chrome extension. So if I find something interesting, I'll be on the blog, I'll hit the Chrome extension, send it to SocialB, and then I'll do a little curated sentence or two. In fact, 2 articles you saw on RSSmasher come across. One was like the top 5 marketing tricks or something like that. Well, that I actually put it into SocialB before it goes into Facebook. So that way I can distribute it across multiple channels at the exact same time or in a schedule pattern. Again, we talked about this on a previous Geek Out Friday. This is one of my favorite tools. I don't necessarily use it every single day, but it's working every day for me, posting 3 to 4 articles across different social platforms. Okay. Definitely worth checking out. It used to be on AppSumo. It's gone, but that's how I picked it up, was AppSumo. Okay, Camtasia. I bet if there's 30, 40 people on the call, if I ask everybody what they use, if they're in video marketing, probably half of you would say Camtasia, if you're doing any type of video editing. The other half is going to be, different tools online, the Apple video editor, I can't remember the name of it, but Adobe Premiere. Camtasia is a screen capture tool and a video editing tool, and it works on both PC and Apple. This is my go-to editor. I've used it for a really long time. They've improved it every single version. Of course, they charge you for every single version coming out, but it does everything. I do VSLs, I do podcasts, I do Facebook ads with it. So anything I need to edit, even though I may be using Vidnami or Lumen 5 or videos or Placeit to create videos online, I'll sometimes bring it into Camtasia and just tweak it up a little bit, change transitions, add some wording, add some lower thirds. So this is my go-to editor. Okay, Placeit. These are from the guys at Envato. This makes mockups, logos, graphics, videos, t-shirt designs, and product images and mockups, product mockups. If I don't use it, my team uses it, my VA uses it to make logos every single day that we're working. We do logos and mockups, and you've seen a lot of the mockups. And if you've done any of the DFY services, this is how I make your headers and your logos and your favicons straight in here. This is a great logo maker, and they've got some really good video intros now. And if you're doing any t-shirt design or product design, they've got some excellent mock-ups. So keep this in mind. If you'll sign up for the free version and then cancel before they bill you, they're going to send you a coupon, and it's $10 off a month. Hopefully they're still using that. So you can save you a little bit of money by not just auto extending. Just let them kind of woo you in as a customer. Okay, number 8, Canva. I would suspect just about everybody on the call has used Canva or knows about Canva. I have the paid version because it has a lot more graphics, professional stock images, and it does a few more things than the other one does, but it doesn't than the free version. But it has higher limits on the number of images you can make within a project. I seldom use Photoshop anymore because what I'm doing is basic graphics, images. I just need something very quick, and sometimes I can have it made, printed, and uploaded by the time Adobe finally updates and loads up. So Adobe is a big beast, Photoshop and Premiere, and they have quite a learning curve. Canva, you can get in there and it's very intuitive, very easy to learn. So if you're just doing basic graphics, this is perfect. You don't need Photoshop. Number 9, Zoom. You're on a Zoom webinar. Yeah, the final thing on Canva, Scott mentioned this, is Canva's background remover is amazing. Guys, it's better than most of these paid background removers. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, let's talk about Zoom. You're on a Zoom call. I do Zoom webinars, I do Zoom meetings, and I have to say, as I have used just about every webinar service out there, and that's why I don't promote any other webinars products anymore, is I've used EverWebinar, GoToWebinar, even the Google Hangouts when it was, but I've tried all the JVZoo webinar stuff. Guys, if you're serious about your business, you want good quality audio and good quality video, and you want a stable platform that's not moving things and trying different things every time you log in. It's very disappointing when all that happens and the webinar crashes on you. When a webinar crashes on a sales call, you could lose, and I'm serious, as I've had some sales in the past where we've made over 50,000 on a webinar. Imagine if that webinar goes down. You could lose 90% of the people and they don't come back. And I don't know what you're selling on a webinar, but if you lose 90% of the people before they get to the call to action, it doesn't matter how much money you save to buy that webinar software from JVZoo, you have just wasted money. So get a stable platform. And I've noticed if you have to pay monthly, it's going to be a good product, or else they're not going to keep on developing it, improving it month after month. We have to do that with RSSmasher and Masher sites. We are always improving those. And Big Penguin too, is we are doing tweaks and updates. In fact, we did 4 of them this week that we haven't even shown you. So Zoom is the same way. They're not necessarily are they adding new features. They're always watching the quality of the data stream. And the thing that they've done recently, and I'd say recently within this year, they've added a Facebook streaming, a YouTube streaming, and I think it's called an OBS streaming. I may be wrong about the letters, but the streaming on this can go to any of the streaming services and broadcast across, any of the social platforms. So Zoom, if you're serious about doing any type of video conferencing, just go with the best. And that's what I'm always trying to tell everybody is you could save money and get some of the cheap stuff, but what's it going to cost you is lost sales whenever they fall off before the call to action. And finally, Kajabi. I have to say this, it's one of the easiest all-in-one platforms. And by far, they get some of the best customer support. But I have tried ClickFunnels. I've tried Groove Pages. We still have Groove Pages. In fact, some of our sales pages are built on them. It is, I have to just say, Kajabi makes sales funnels very easy. The membership is by far the best. It's the easiest to set up. If you can do this with Optimize Press and Optimize membership. You can do any type of WordPress membership site, and I've done them all. So I know it takes time to set up your WordPress membership sites, and ClickFunnels is really good at the sales funnel. Their membership is not as good as Kajabi. Also, they're a little bit more expensive than Kajabi. The Groove, they've got so many platforms, and guys, I tell you, we use Groove Pages. In my opinion, I've been designing websites for almost 15 years. Groove Pages, if you're not using the template, you're going to have a hard time. It's still in beta. It probably will be in beta another year. It's been in beta, I think, 2 years already. So just take that in mind, is when you're looking for an all-in-one, you're going to pay some money to get a good one. The cheaper the less you spend, the less you're going to get. That's just my thoughts on software applications like this. Okay. There are some other tools. Here are our current apps. So we've got 3 main products, and our flagship, our original product, is VidPenguin. It's what we tell everybody, it's the first step to ranking videos and one of the absolute best video marketing, video SEO training courses, I believe, out there. So in addition to the software, you get a really good training course with it. It is a SaaS tool. If you're new to Geek Out Fridays, we completely started from scratch and rewrote it last year. We feel like it's a really good, stable platform. Now, I have to tell everybody, Google, we cannot tell Google what to put on page 1 of Google. I wish we could. It would make things a lot easier. So sometimes they decide they don't want to put stuff on there, and that's not our fault. We just can't tell them what to put on page 1, but we can help them. We can help them find the videos that we want to go on page 1 for certain keywords. And we help them a lot with a lot of backlinking and indexing and pinging that we do with it. So if you're not using VidPenguin to rank videos, you're missing a step that you may lose out on your video SEO tactics. Okay. Our second, and probably our most popular, and this is something I use on a daily basis, is RSSmasher technology. It's an automated RSS content marketing tool. You can create RSS super feeds, basically combining feeds together and get your favorite feeds and create a mash. You can put YouTube channels in them. You can also do Google Sheets. And as far as I know, we're the only company that converts a Google Sheet into an RSS feed. And this is we try to get it, set it and forget it scheduling tools. Our goal is we build products for what Wayne and I use. We want to build recurring income models for ourselves. These are the tools that we use: RSS Master Tech and VidPenguin. And finally, I have been using WordPress, I think, since version 1 of WordPress. I know its faults. It is a very good auto blog, but whenever you have hosting that tells you can't do something on it because their system is not set up for it, you need to run. Bluehost, there's Bluehost, SiteGround, there's A2Host, GoDaddy. I've tried a lot of the different hosting, and your WordPress is affected by the hosting, by the PHP version that they have, by how much throughput they give to you. And WordPress goes down and it gets hacked. It gets hacked all the time. In fact, there are free tools out there. WordPress, WordFence is one of my favorite. It does a fairly decent job, but what people are finding is ways to get into WordPress that bypass the security, and then they go into the server level through your WordPress. I don't know how they do it. They're hackers, and I'm not a hacker, but I have lost weeks and months of time on fixing WordPress sites that either went down on me or went down on one of my clients. So in an auto blogging world, we set up masher sites. They are very, very fast loading pages, and it's to replace all the hassles that go with WordPress or the hosting that's with WordPress. Masher sites, we host, we've got firewalls, we've got all the security built in. You don't need to add any plugins. You just basically set it up with an API code with RSSmasher, and it feeds it automatically. And we got different site templates that you can use. And I tell everybody, you can build sites as quickly as 12 minutes. Now, that's true, but you still have to have content to go over. So you got to go over to RSSmasher and do your RSS feed research. You got to design a logo. Sometimes the logo, working with clients, may take longer to design than setting up the entire website. So masher sites are designed to be easy. And we keep on adding stuff to it that now you can have your own sales pages in there. You can have lead pages in there, and you can do outbound linking on menus. That's a new feature we just added yesterday, and we'll be showing you all that. But combining these together, Masher Sites and RSS Masher, we are building the ultimate premier set it and forget it auto blogging system. We're building it for us, but we want you to share along with it. So keep that in mind. That's why we built this, is we want something that's going to last a long time and make us, recurring income. If you don't want to build your own site, we have a DFY Build service that we're offering. And I've got the links on another page here. In fact, it's inside of RSS Master. We're closing, or we're suspending sales on this service as of Monday. Why? We opened it up temporarily. We'll take in jobs, and when we get enough jobs, we'll have to close it down, because I don't want to go out and hire additional VAs just for 1 month or 2 months. I've got a good team right now, 2 VAs working for me that build sites. I've spent a lot of time training them, and for the most part, as I'm coming into the DFYs, helping them out a lot of times on RSS feed research, on logo design and stuff like that. But if you want a DFY site, we've got a special running. Grab it before Monday, because we'll close down the DFY service. We won't take on any new customers, probably for another 3 or 4 months, or maybe after the first of the year. So this is where we build it. We integrate it with your RSS Masher. We build feeds for you in RSS Masher to feed your site. So really, it's a hands-free operation. Okay, I'm going to show y'all some of our upcoming services, and some of these are really exciting. We will be coming out in September with, it's something so unique. I've never seen it before. And the way we put it together, it's called a Minion Builders database. Now, if you're a beta team member, you've already seen this, but we've added some things since you probably saw it last. We can make customer avatars and social personas where we get all the demographic information. We build a complete profile of a fake person. Then we give you an easy way to get a profile image. You just click a button. You keep clicking the button until you find a profile that you like, and then you lock it in. Then you can go in, and we have a photo editor where you can change the photo around. You can offload it to your phone through QR codes, or you can download the URL and manipulate it and change that photo around. So with one photo, you can make it into dozens of different looks. And we've got all this built into a database. Now, why do we have that? Well, the next step is we need a place to put user login information for each of the social accounts for each persona, so that we can share it with our VA team, and we can use that to help market, to get all the engagement and management of social platforms. I did this because I noticed on Google that anytime I was using Google Sheets, I would add a persona using several different tools to build one. And before I even got it approved on Facebook, I was already getting canceled. And it only happened once I put it on the Google Sheets so I could share it with the VA. Google likes to share your information when you use Google Docs and Google Sheets. I didn't believe it until I actually saw it for my eyes. So never put a private spreadsheet on Google Sheets that you don't want seen, because in some way that information is being passed. So we built a private online database to hold your user information for all your different social platforms, to build your persona, to build pictures of your persona, to put notes on there. And then we stepped it up one step further, is we added an avatar maker for agencies. Agencies need to know who they're selling to. So they want to know their goals, their hopes, their dreams, their frustrations, their challenges and opportunities to sell to. We have all that in an avatar maker inside of this. We're going to be releasing this database, and I say on JVZoo, then we're going to be moving it to AppSumo afterwards. But this is a really cool tool that nobody else has that builds these personas for you. So coming September. We also have a content SEO writing service that we're working on right now with another team, and it's coming out this fall, where we're going to be doing SEO content using Conversion AI or Jarvis, along with Surfer SEO and Ahrefs or SEMrush. So we are going to be focused on SEO articles that you can run through your Masher sites. Also, one of the things that people are always asking was, I don't like doing RSS feed research. Well, guys, we're pretty good at RSS feed research. I've been teaching how to do RSS feed research for at least 6 years. I've been using RSS feeds since they were version 1. They have changed a lot over the years, and they took away the viewable browsers that Google Chrome used to actually show you what the RSS feed looked like. So there's different tools I have to use now. It's gotten a lot tougher to find really good, full, rich content. But we kind of have found some tricks that work for us, and we're doing all these DFYs, so we have to find RSS feeds on a daily basis. We're going to open this up. So if you want to build your site, you just want somebody to do feed research, we'll have a paid service for it. It's later this year. Auto blogging ads network. This is going to be our ultimate platform. Is if you have WordPress or Masher and you want something besides AdSense, you want somebody to help you make money on your auto blogs, we're going to have an auto blogging ads network. You're just going to check a button and we'll start managing the ad networks on your site. And you'll still focus on traffic, but we'll focus on making you money, so you don't even have to worry about that. We got a tool that we've been using kind of internally. It takes about 3 or 4 different steps to get it done, but it's a video ranking predictor tool. We're going to automate the process that I use to kind of fine tune where I want to rank videos, what keywords are going to be easier to rank with, kind of make it into a red light, green light situation. That's coming out in 2022. And we got some other stuff I can't even talk about right now, because I'm sure there are people that would love to copy some of the stuff that we do. In fact, on Minion Builders database, one of my closest friends and not really competitors, he's a vertical vendor, has already copied me. And I'm like, I haven't even launched this and you're already copying me. So this, when we come out with tools, we want tools that you can use and tools that, our original VidPenguin lasted 5 years without much edits or anything. And it still worked. It didn't work as well as our VidPenguin 2 does, but we build tools to last. And, that's why some of the stuff we don't want to disclose at this time because of that. Is we've got competitors that will come in and knock us off or copy us, but they don't know everything behind it. Like the Word AI integration, there's some tricks on Word AI to make it work absolutely perfect. But if you don't use those tricks inside of RSSmasher, you may not have the best of results. So that's why I need to teach a short mini course on that. Okay. So I've got some other tools in here that I want to show you. I told you I couldn't get it all in the top 10. Somebody asked about replays. Yes, we'll have a replay. It's inside of your Kajabi platform that Geek Out Fridays, all the replays and show notes. And we also have a YouTube inside of the RSSmasher YouTube channel. We have a playlist for the Geek Out Fridays. Now, if you want to see this with the links, it's vidpenguinproductions.com pages/tools, or any of the blogs in VidPenguin Productions. At the very bottom, I have the tool list. But I'll just kind of mention some of the other ones that we use. Somebody asked about CopyPro. Absolutely. I use CopyPro probably once or twice a week. There's some other similar tools. I'm trying out lead scripts on, it's an actual AppSumo product that you can get right now. It's good, but it's not the same as copy. I mean, John Benson, the copywriter, he's a six and seven figure copywriter. So this is all his stuff. Very, very good. But Zapier, Rocket Link, we talked about Rocket Link are my link shorteners. Namecheap, to me, this is the best place to to register your domains. They're cheap, they've got really good customer service, and they give you a free privacy shield, whereas GoDaddy actually charges you for it. Page Rewriter, this is the new one out from Mike Martin. This helps you do SEO content. I kind of like it. It's very, very simple to use, and he's added some AI features that really kind of take it up a notch. I'm going to point out FeedSpot. This is a tool that I almost love to hate, because every time I started doing RSS feed research, they always took me to FeedSpot. I'd have to sign in or do something to be able to see the feed. Well, I finally signed in, bought the pro version of it, and it's very cheap. It's like $8 or $9 a month. It does an incredible job of being a feed viewer. So you can do all your feed research inside of FeedSpot before you actually do a build and preview inside RSSmasher. So I'm finding most of my content by dropping them into FeedSpot and just checking out the viewer and see what the feed looks like. I can sort them, organize them, however. So good little tool to have. Typeform. This is absolutely the best way to do surveys or ask questionnaires or anything like that. Live Vid Ranker. This is one of those old JVZoo launches that happened a long time ago. One-time pay, but it does one thing. It does one thing very well. It streams videos for you. So if you make a video, you want to stream it, I'll just drop it in here, point it to the channel, give it a title, and off it goes. And you can schedule them in here. There's a lot of other tools that do pre-recorded streaming. I like this one because it's simple. It was a one-time pay. I don't have to worry about monthlies or annuals with it. If you're doing any type of keyword research, Bic, I don't think it's on AppSumo anymore, but this is a very good tool for doing keyword research along with Surfer SEO. Because I have Conversion AI, I use Surfer SEO on the same platform to optimize my blog post. This almost guarantees you a page 1, page 2 ranking if you optimize with Surfer SEO. Snagit, I'm sure everybody on the call, hopefully everybody on the call has Snagit. It is, you're going to do screen captures all day long, especially if you're explaining anything to a customer. This is just an image capture tool. And I also do editing inside of it. It's got a pretty good image editor. Smart Mockups. This is a great tool. It does a better job, I think, than Placeit or Dropbox. The actual mockups themselves look very, very nice. They do a lot of the warping of the image to, if it's a coffee cup with kind of rounded edges that are not standard, it will warp the image to fit the mock-up. They've got a desktop version, they've got an online version, and then this is my host. I've used SiteGround for the last probably 4 or 5 years. They're probably not the absolute most popular one. Their customer service has gone downhill a little bit, but they still do a good job of WordPress. And their WordPress sites are very fast. And used to, I could get them on customer service on chat mode fairly quick. Now it's about 6 hours, 12 hours of difference between getting an answer sometimes. That I don't really care for. Is if I need an answer on WordPress, I kind of need it right then, not whatever they get around to it. So, but these are some of the other tools that we have. And I've got another list. I've got a more fleshed out list, and I kind of give you some good scenarios on there. So anyway, if you want to see all the tools that we use, it's bitpenguinproductions.com/pages/tools. Okay. Are there any specific questions that you have about the tools, or is there any that you want demoed specifically? Okay. I'm gonna